Hello YouTube, welcome back to my neighborhood Taco Bell for the start of another vlog. I am TH from THMOTO, and we're gonna get started with some dusk riding. It's even duskier than a normal dusk because of the fire. There's a fire somewhere that's causing absolute air quality, but absolutely fantastic views, and so much so that I forgot how to ride a motorcycle. That was pretty cool. Didn't fall. It's all right. So yeah, you can see the sky is orangish, bluish, purplish, pinkish. Definitely a nice spring palette on a early summer evening, or a midsummer early evening. But we are going to a friend's house for a little poker game. Should be fun. We typically meet the last Sunday of every month, but this is the first time in a couple of months now, due to some health issues last month, skipping it and going this month. So I used to play poker a lot, online, in person, home games, casino games, not so much later in life, but we at least do this month, and it's been really cool. I've been into poker for quite some time. I learned to deal cards shortly after turning 21. I think 6 months after turning 21. A little bit more about me. Funny enough, I didn't gamble too much in Las Vegas when I turned 21. I did a little bit. So the way that I got introduced to gambling, I'm gonna just go. No one around. After I go, she'll be free to go. We made eye contact. She saw that I wasn't stopping. Perfectly safe for everyone involved. Anyways, on my 21st birthday, I went into a gas station because video poker machines and gas stations is a totally normal thing if you're in Las Vegas. If you're not in Las Vegas, then probably not so much. But yeah, so I went into a gas station on my 21st birthday and put in 20 bucks and hit a 4 of a kind and won 100 bucks. And Vegas has won that 100 bucks over or back from me many, many times over. But that's how she got me hooked. First hit was free, and been buying into it ever since. So yeah, after that, I was actually working at a strip club. This is the most Vegas story that ever Vegas storied, I swear. I did not mean for it to be this way, but right off the bat, we're off to a good start. I guess that's how you start talking. I mean, when you're talking about gambling, it's bound to turn out that way. Anyways, so that's how I started out. Then I was working at a strip club after that, and used to get off at like 3, 4, 5 or later in the morning, and we would go play blackjack after work. Say some single deck or double deck blackjack, and we would just play for fun. We didn't count cards or anything crazy. Like, it was legitimately just gambling. Like, we would just get drunk and gamble when other people were just waking up for their day. Ours was wrapping up with some gambling. Play some blackjack, and then I actually went to Washington. So to Washington State, and so the way that learning to deal cards goes in Vegas most of the time, I'm gonna let them. Thank you. Guy with the dual sport, love that. He let me over by shifting lanes as he was coming up to me. He was racing up to me. But anyways, the way that it goes is if you're going to learn to deal cards in Vegas, typically you pay for it. So you go to and you pay at least a few $1,000s to learn to deal. And they usually will teach you everything you need to know except craps and roulette. Those games are sold a la carte because everybody makes you learn craps and roulette if you're going to deal in Vegas, because those are the big money games besides blackjack. But when I was in Washington, craps and roulette weren't even legal, and gambling had just been legalized, just the table games, nothing with the dice and the roulette. I'm not sure if that's how it is still. Maybe I'll research that, or someone could tell me in the comments. But I got paid to learn how to deal in Washington, something that I very easily could have done if I would have stayed down here, but it would have cost me money. I went to Washington State and learned to deal cards and got paid to do so. So gambling was legalized. One of the places up there is called Porterhouse. Used to be a restaurant that Porterhouse Casino. Put out an ad in the paper, and me and my girlfriend at the time were looking for jobs and found them in the paper. We went and auditioned, and come to find out, so she actually grew up in this town, so she knew like everyone. If you know someone, you know everyone. And some of the people who were helping to open the casino, she actually knew, childhood friends. So that all but guaranteed us entry. We got it. Deal cards. Lived like king and queen up there for a while, because it doesn't cost a lot to live in the part of Washington that we lived in, like central Washington. Definitely not like Seattle or anything like that. But where we lived in Washington, it didn't cost a lot to live like kings and queens. So we made like 4 or 5 times more than we needed to, and had a bunch of disposable income, and just spent it on things that we should not have spent it on, let's say, to keep it YouTube friendly. And then at the end of that year, we actually split. And as I mentioned before, she knew people in that town, and that made it a pretty miserable experience for me. So I came back to Vegas, tail tucked between my legs, and I was like, cool, I'm just going to deal down here. Well, everybody wants minimum year experience or school. So I had a lot of fun doing it while it lasted, but did not want to pay something I already knew how to do, even though it's a very lucrative business, and like half of the city at the time, I'm not sure how it is now, but half the city at the time was in quote unquote the industry. Just didn't want to do it. But anyways, while I was up there, I got into gambling a lot more. I mean, like I said, I hadn't been 21 very long, so I couldn't really be into it that much. I think I was 21 for 3 months before I ended up moving up there in 2000. I'm gonna say that, never mind. 2000 and something. But got into poker a little bit there, kind of scratched the itch with friends. We were mostly into drinking games though, not gambling, but just drinking and playing cards game. King's Cup, A-Hole, High-Low, Red Black, just a bunch of stuff that you play with the sole purpose of getting drunk. That's mostly what we played, but I definitely came back with the itch to gamble. Definitely have that itch available to be scratched in Las Vegas, and I have been doing so ever since. And yeah, poker has been a part of that journey. We talked over the last couple of videos, anyway, a little bit about poker YouTubers, or sorry, motorcycling YouTubers. Well, poker YouTubers are how I actually got into YouTube heavy. I spent a lot of time watching videos about Tom Dwan. I spent a lot of time watching anything that Doug Polk created. I was actually there when, into poker YouTube when Andrew Nemi and Brad Owen were coming up. So obviously I've been with those guys since day one. Lexo Poker out there in Hollywood, Florida doing his thing. Rampage from when he got his start. Watched a lot of poker YouTube. I just think it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. When I play poker, I don't typically like to gamble. I will occasionally because, I don't know, at home games, it's fun. Like, if everyone's being all nitty, it's not necessarily that much of a good time. You kind of want somebody to mix it up, but you don't want everyone to mix it up. And at the games that I've gone to before, there have been plenty of people mixing it up. So I kind of just knit it up a little bit and try to get it as good as much as possible. Looking for places to value bet, hero call, things like that. Isn't necessarily being nitty, but if you know someone is bluffing 40% of the time, then you only have to be good so often to be profitable. And yeah, those are the kinds of things that I liked to do on YouTube that got me into YouTube so much, and why I actually purchased YouTube Premium. I know a lot of people laugh at people for paying for a free service, but do the free trial. You never go back. If you consume a lot of YouTube, it's literally life-changing. The value that it adds by not having to watch ads is absolutely fantastic. Hashtag ad. Just kidding, not an ad. I'm not sponsored by Google or YouTube or anything like that. I just really enjoy YouTube as a service, as a infotainment, educational, or edutainment, whatever the heck people are calling it. It's a lot of fun. Good waste of time, but learning something while you are wasting that time. I'm not kidding. Before I bought my MT-07, I consumed like 2 hours of motovlogging YouTube per day for at least 3 months. So just a lot of research, a lot of watching people ride, advice and things like that. But anyways, to poker. I'm really excited to be playing this game. Hopefully we can get back in it. Playing every month. Hopefully people have no more health issues. Scary when people that you know and love have stuff like that happen to them. I'm going to go into 6th year here on the not something I do very often, but actually where I work, there's a lot of, how do I say, affluent people that live in that part of town. And I've met a couple of YouTubers IRL, or sorry, a couple of poker players IRL, and it's really cool talking to them. I don't think poker players actually like love being famous. You know, I can't imagine what it's like meeting people in public, and those people know that you have unbelievably large amount of cash in your house at any given time. Just to give you some frame of reference, I've met Brad Owen and I've met JRB, and I know for a fact that those guys have huge amounts of cash at their house at any given time. So it's got to be kind of unnerving having everyone know or a lot of people know who you are, and knowing that about you. If somebody wanted to get into some dirt and do something stupid, that you are a potential target for that. But I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter, because freedom of information, you can find out where almost anyone lives anyway. Kind of scary thought. So I guess that doesn't really matter. I don't know how much thinking about that they do. They probably do think about security a good bit, but yeah, I have a lot of fun meeting those guys and just talking to them about poker. I actually invited JRB to our home game, sarcastically, and he took it as that and laughed, thankfully, because I was kind of nervous, like joking around with him, because who am I, you know? And actually, when I met Brad Owen, I had seen him. He had been in my store probably like over the course of the day. I think he was in there like 2 or 3 times total for like over an hour. And I finally, the last time that he was there, kind of just hanging around, waiting for something. I was like, all right, I'm going to talk to him. I didn't have anything like quote unquote work to be doing at that moment, and he was just standing around. And I was just like, hey, I know you already know this, but you're Brad Owen. He was like, I am, and I do, but thanks. Nice to meet you. What's your name? And he was just the coolest guy. He was just the most approachable, most humble. I know he's got a lot of experience because he does meetup games and stuff like that. And I mean, he voluntarily goes into public to take people's money. So he's got to be like humble and nice and all of that stuff. But he was everything that I would want to be and more. And we actually talked about poker, we talked about non-poker, we talked about life, we talked about living in Vegas, we talked about going back and forth to Austin and all of that fun stuff that he's been up to. It was just a hoot. It was an absolute great time meeting him. JRB too. JRB I could tell was not in a mood to be fussed with, but I mean, when is he ever? LOL. But he still talked to me. Super nice. In hands. I am a tall, as you could probably tell, and as I've said, I have like big hands. JRB has massive hands. We shook hands and I was like, holy expletive. Like I can't even imagine what his hands feel like, or what cards look like in his hand. I've never noticed that. But anyways, so yeah, I'm pretty excited to be going to do this once a month. No harm, really. I think I'm in our history of this particular home game. I think I'm up a little bit, but I fully expect that to change. I fully expect to value own myself, or get value owned by, or bluff shove gone wrong, or someone sucking out on the river. I definitely done my fair share of sucking out on the river, so can't be mad at that. But it's a lot of fun. And here we are again in the back streets of Summerlin. Sorry if you hate poker. If you love poker and you love motorcycles, then boy, this is the video for you. If not, then you probably stopped watching. But maybe you're here for the views of the sky. Sorry we couldn't be riding towards the sunset, but he doesn't live that direction from me. He lives pretty much due south where I live. As you can tell, we are not on the freeway. I might get on the freeway for a second. There's a lot of people I think already there chilling, so I didn't necessarily want it to take 45 minutes to get to his house. But I'm scared of the freeway, so there's that. Still not used to the fact that I can take the revs up a little bit higher now on my bike. I'm used to like short shifting, granny shifting. The heck? Dust devil right there. Those are so weird to ride through. You see them, just a little baby tornado of debris hanging out. I actually rode through a much bigger one the other day, and I went like 7 different directions. Like I entered the 4th dimension for a split second. I was like 7 different directions in a matter of 3/4 of a second. It was pretty freaky. I don't know why I rode through it, because I even I saw it and I looked in my mirror and I saw that the lane next to me was clear. So I was like, I can get over. I was like, it's a little dust devil. What's going to happen? I almost time traveled. That's what happened. But it was fun to tell the tale. Who's got the green light here? Not the people to my left. Oh, now they do, but I got time. It's fine. That was a Nissan Versa and a U-Haul at that stoplight. If there are literally any vehicles, then I would have stopped and let them go. Nissan Versa and a U-Haul, I think I could beat them. 6th gear on the street again. 58 miles an hour. So we're back to Hualapai. This is the pseudo freeway that I told you about. We're going 60, and I promise you that if it was not Sunday night right now, that someone would be passing me. 100% without a doubt would be happening. So don't think I'm a lunatic for 60 at a 45 because, I mean, look, there's nothing going on. It's 3 lanes each direction. This is bigger than some freeways in some states. I've been through some of your states, and this is bigger than a lot of your. So I am not engaging in squid-like behavior. Never mind the fact that I am wearing joggers. And my legs would be toast if I wrecked. Never mind that fact. Sitting at a stoplight, not for long. Oh, nobody got the green light. That was pretty cool. Oh, see you later, U-Haul. Alright, so I think I'm actually going to talk about something motorcycle-y. Not something that I normally, or have not done yet, but no time like the present. I'm going to talk about lane position. So, I know that there are 3 positions that I can be in any given lane. We could be in the far right, like I am now. We could be in the middle, where cars don't drive, but also can be very slippery. And we could be in the far left of the lane. What do you like best? I try to challenge myself to stay in one part of the lane for as long as I can on almost every single ride. Motojitsu would either be proud or sad. I don't mix it up that much in terms of skills that I practice on my ride because I'm trying to, like, what I'll do is like a week at a time. So like 1 week I'll practice counter steering instead of leaning. Like I do not lean at all. Like I try to like open my legs. Like don't use my butt, just push with my arms. So counter steering. Other times I will do lane position. Other times I will do looking up as far as I possibly can in the road. Like right now I'm looking through that roundabout. I can't anymore because it's over the horizon, but that roundabout is like 15, 20 seconds away. There's no point in looking there, but I do it just to try to get used to looking up as far ahead as possible. But lately I have been absolutely infatuated with lane position, and even through turns like that, you know, like outside, inside, outside, or outside, middle, outside, or middle, inside, middle, or middle, inside, outside is, you know, arguably better than outside, outside, outside. But I just did, since I was in the left of the lane, I just said, I'm going to stay in the left of the lane throughout the entirety of this turn. This turn, I'm doing the same thing. Not ideal for visibility right now, but you know what? If something comes up in the road, that gives me a chance to practice emergency braking. And so I'm just I'm going to stay in the left part of the lane no matter what. So maybe you might have noticed at the beginning of the ride, I was doing the right side of the lane no matter what. Now I'm doing the left side of the lane. I don't typically do the middle. I will ride in the middle sometimes, but I really, really shy against it, or shy away from it. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, yeah, duh, you're not supposed to ride in the middle as a motorcyclist because that's the slipperiest, most dangerous part of the road, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to say. But I'm going to have to ride in the middle sometimes. There might be like giant trucks on either side of me and a car in front of me, and I'm trapped and I have to ride in the middle to feel safe. Or maybe I have to ride in the middle for just a second for whatever reason. So I do practice that a little, but not nearly as much as the left and right. And when I was back at that stoplight at Russell and Hope, you might have noticed that I stayed in the right part of the lane even though there was a car on my right. And I knew there was a car on my right. I wanted to feel comfortable with that car being less than 2 feet away from me. You know, the smart thing to do would be to give it space and make sure that it gave me space. But there might be times when I have to feel comfortable riding right next to somebody in that lane position. I know that one of the advantages of riding a motorcycle is that's almost never the case. Iron. nice. I know that I have 3 lane positions to choose from at any given moment, so the chances of me getting in a situation where I have to be married to a lane position are slim to none. But, you know, I still want to practice it. I want to practice, like, every single thing that I can. And then what I'm probably going to do next week is lines, like turning lines whenever I'm in curves. Try within my own lane, trying to take the best possible line. Like hitting the apex and slowing down as much as I need to before the turn. So brake, gas, lean, that kind of thing, and taking the best possible line. But for now, anyways, it is lane position. And at this point in my ride, almost day, we have chosen left. The engine brake a little bit here. We're gonna have to lean a little bit more through this turn since I'm purposely taking it on the inside. That was also speeding. There's that. Yeah, I want to know what you work on. If you're a beginning motorcyclist, I would love for you to tell me, do you have a plan? Do you like set out and say, I'm going to practice this today? Or when you get on the bike, do you say, oh, I'm riding, I might as well think about this today? Or do you kind of just wing it? Or do you not practice anything? If you do practice, how long do you practice? Do you practice multiple skills in a ride? Do you practice one skill only for days at a time, weeks at a time, months at a time? Before, I would just love to hear about your strategy, because I am a beginner rider, and as I said in my very first video, the more perspectives I get, the happier I am. Almost just yeeted that manhole out of its position. But yeah, I would love to hear what you have to say about that topic. We're about to be at my friend's house, so out of respect for him, we'll be stopping the vlog soon because I don't want y'all to know where his giant stack of cash is. LOL, we play very small stakes. Nothing the police can be bothered with, that's for sure. My camera just did something funny. It actually says it's only been recording for 42 seconds. I'm not entirely sure how that's possible, because the last time that I touched it was a very long time ago, when we were back at our friendly neighborhood Taco Bell. Not entirely sure what happened there. I know what didn't happen. I did not run out of battery. I did not run out of memory card space. Maybe I said some magic word that makes it start a new file. I don't know. We'll see how much fun that's going to be in editing. Or maybe nothing. But at all. Without regard to that, I am going to wrap up the vlog here before I make this left turn. Fully at this red light. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Hope to see you again on another episode. Wish me luck tonight. And let me know what you think.